Okay, today we are just going to do a review of some trees. It's been a while, a little bit since, it's been a few weeks since I did a video because I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, and I've done bare minimum on trees that I had to get done, and I just didn't feel like the added of filming stuff. So we'll get back. We're going to get back into it. But first, we're just going to show you some updates of some trees. First thing we have here is my boxwoods. As you can see, they have, since we did the repot into these pots, they have burst out with new growth. This one has regrowth of about 2 inches. Some of this is 2 inches to an inch. So they are doing just fine. They bounced back just fine. I'll show you each of them. I'll rotate each of them to show you the whole thing. Even got some back budding here. The other one's got a little bit of back budding too. So they're doing good. That one. There's this one. And of course this one is this one needs more development than that one does. It needs more filling out. This one's in pretty good a pretty good state. It's got better roots, it's got a better canopy. It needs to fill out a little bit. But these are my Kashira maples. These are the 3 I already had for the group. These are 5 new ones I've gotten. And you can see the little bit of a difference in these compared to these. These are a little more scraggly and longer, a little bigger. The leaves are a little bit bigger on these than these. Not by much, but there's some bigger leaves on these, where these are more compact. These were cut back a little bit last year. And they're a little more compact and stuff, so you can see the difference of these. There may be a change in this. I may not plant these as a pure maple group now. I was thinking of maybe experimenting with a American larch and these as a group, having one side of the planting larch and then the other side of the planting maples. I probably won't use all these maples for that, and we still may end up with some kind of maple group of these later. I will actually show you 3 of my possible larch that I got. These I got from the bonsai group I have. They usually on their 5-year anniversary, big anniversaries, like the 25th anniversary years ago, they did one. They missed their 50th anniversary, so this is their 52nd anniversary, and they did where everybody got 3 larch, and we're going to plant them as a group planting next spring. Could have done it this year, but I didn't do it just because don't know exactly what I'm going to do with mine. But I'm going to plant these as a group next, whatever I end up doing with them, next spring. And then next September, not this September this year, but the September of 2020, our meeting of that month, we're going to bring in our larch trees and show everybody what we're doing and discuss them. But like I said, I'm thinking, and these are just my other larch. I have a single larch that has been out of it's been out in needles for over a month now. These are just coming out. When we got them on today is Tuesday, and I got them on the Saturday before this. They had swollen buds, but they were not green. You can see some of them are now greening out in just this time. I did these on Sunday. I did these on Sunday, and one of them was starting to show green by that time, but they were refrigerated, so they could sell them, and you could plant them. They could be planted when you get them, because these are very picky on being planted. You don't want to plant them after they've started to really bud out too much. When they're green, when they're just green, still good. My other one I repotted when it was just, the buds were just turning green. I replanted mine. I was going to do it a little sooner and it just didn't get done. But I've also bought 3 more American larch from offline. I'm not sure if I'm getting them soon or in the fall, depending on when they dig them up and how they ship them and when they're good to plant and stuff, or maybe next spring. But I bought 4 to go with these, and I really think I'm going to try the larch and maple planting together. You know, I can try it, and the worst that happens is I take them apart and make them their own group plantings. It's not like it's set in stone right off the bat. If I don't like it, I can change it. But that's these trees. When I picked up the Katsura, the 5 new Katsura maples, when I ordered them, I ordered me a cherry. Can't remember the variety of this. I'll put the variety on screen. I'll write it on screen. But I picked it because the leaves are relatively small, and I like the sound of the blooms. The flowers are pink, and they're a double flower, which just means they got a lot of petals, where the single ones, I think they have 4 or 5 petals usually, but the other ones have petals, like sort of petals within petals, on a double one. I'm thinking to do this, I'm going to probably, this is flexible enough, I will probably use some raffia, but I don't want it quite as curvy. I either cut it back or I try to straighten it out a little bit. I mean, I like it to be a little curvy, but as you can see, it could easily be bent to be less curvy. I think it's just, to me, it's just a little too, got too much, almost a right hand curve to it, and I'm not much for that. But I haven't done anything to this. This is just, I repotted it real quick. Try not to disturb the roots too much. I just potted it so it would be in some bonsai soil and out of the really organic soil that it came in. And like the maples, these are done from cuttings. The place I get them from, they're a nursery from California, and the majority of their trees are all cuttings, which is, I like that, because they don't have grafts. You know, they're not done on grafts, and I really do not like a graft for a bonsai tree. You don't usually get them really good grafts that they look good. You know, usually, a lot of times the graft will look, you can tell the difference just by the different barks look a little different. Some of them are just really done bad too. If I get grafted ones, I usually try to air layer them, which I've done with 2. I thought I'd give you a look at my collected yew that I did the video on. I did a little bit of other work on it. I wasn't going to touch it much, just do the root, do what I had to do to the roots to get it in this pot, replant it, and that was it. I had ended up deciding I cut this whole side off because it had For one, it was a big, long, straight run without any taper. I didn't really see me using it for anything, so I figured it would heal over better. Oh well, quicker. It would heal over quicker if I did the cut off now. And as you can see, I tried to cut it. I used my knob cutters to cut it back, so when it heals over, it shouldn't have much. It should be fairly fairly even. But you can see, other than that, this has great taper with that. It needs to be. I'm thinking it's going to be planted a little more this way, I think, when it's repotted again, but that won't be that'll be a couple of years. Let the roots really develop. I don't see any signs that this is not doing good. It's put out a lot of new needles all over the place, so it looks healthy. I haven't cut anything back on this because my thinking of this is I'm gonna keep a couple of these branch ends as gins coming out of the canopy. I was thinking some kind of canopy here, and then a few of these dead, like they were maybe hit by lightning and killed. So I don't want to touch them now because I don't want to have to. They're nice and, you know, and they're already broken. Like this one's dead already, but if I wanted to use this would be perfect. Just clean it up, put some lime sulfur on it to make it white, and it would look like it was hit by lightning and killed. You know, it'd be perfect. But yeah, it'll need a lot of development but we're just going to let this thing grow for this year at least, probably next year too. Let this heal up, let the roots fill this pot, because it didn't have a lot of roots, because as I said, it was grown in really clay soil that it didn't, you know, you can see the tree is not, there's not a ton to it. The tree was struggling a little bit, you know. You could see that in the roots, you could see that in the top. The only trouble with cutting this off was this was the strongest part of the tree. The top up here was the strongest, had the strongest growth. Most new stuff, it had the strongest growth. And again, that was another reason that prompted me to get rid of it, because that would remain the dominant part. I had cut it back first, and then I just decided to get rid of it. I don't want it. I didn't want it. The earlier I get rid of it, the better, I think, for the tree. I didn't think, once I had cut it back, cutting it off was not going to stress the tree anymore, because there wasn't much. I had just left a few pieces to it, so cutting this off was not going to stress the tree out anymore, really, much more. And I think it'll benefit this side that I want to keep, because I think this has a good, you know, beginning structure to it. I like most of what's here. Some of it might have to go, like this. I had cut this back because it was weird and I wasn't going to keep it. This might get cut off. One of these might get cut off somewhere, or at least cut back. I'm not sure about this one. Really, it's either this one or this one. This might go too. This just might go because it's thicker than the rest, and it's in the back. It's not, you know, one of these have to go because they're close and parallel. They're not working, but we're not going to worry about structure and right now. I can cut that stuff off later at another time. I may do some work at cleaning this up and just put some lime sulfur on it in case I want this one. It'll be preserved better. Because most of the other ones are alive, the ends are alive, so they won't be a problem. This probably wouldn't be a problem either, but I might clean it up a little. But there is my collected yew. Okay, here is something I wanted to try after seeing a rosemary bonsai. Rosemary can get really quickly nice, decent size. In a couple of years they can get a decent sized trunk and really nice too. I just wanted to try something different. I've seen them, so but this thing was taller. Coming up this way, squirrel dug in the pot once, didn't do anything. Second time, broke it off. I was gonna try, because it was still connected some, I tried wrapping raffia around it, and then I was gonna put some wire to help support it, but in the process it broke, so it didn't work. But luckily I still have this one. I could also look to see if they still have big ones. I think I paid $8 for this. It was a decent sized rosemary. I may look into another one. I can always plant this or even keep it and have two. But I think this would make a nice, this has a nice, I just wired it a little bit. It was down further. I wired it to come up a little bit. I think this would make have a nice start. Grow it from there. It has nice movement, and then just get rid of this. I just didn't cut this off yet, and then it got a lot of rosemary will really shoot good. But yeah, that's just a little project I wanted to try. And I think that's all for my updates for now. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.